Hi, my name is Jamaica, and this is Love Letters to My Brokenness. So I decided to do this. Well, it wasn't a decision. I'm being obedient. So I am a Christian woman. I am working on my relationship with Christ. I won't say I have the greatest relationship, and because I feel like there's so much more I need to learn. There's so much more I need to do in this process of being, his bride. But I'm being obedient. I hear from God in my dreams. I'm a dreamer. I hear from him on a very regular basis. I dream every single night, very vivid dreams. Sometimes it's things I haven't dealt with. Sometimes it's, answers to my questions. And I've been getting this pull for a long time, but I was afraid. I was afraid to get in front of a camera and be transparent and be vulnerable because of some of the traumas I've endured. People have not believed me. People have called me a liar. People have walked away from me. People have judged me. And I feared more of the same. I feared the comments that are going to come. I feared how certain people would view me. How I feared being deemed unworthy of love, unworthy of companionship, unworthy of being a wife. If I said the wrong thing or I told the wrong story, how would that tarnish me and make me unlovable? But where I'm at in my journey of healing, I don't care. It's not that I don't care. I'm being obedient to what God is telling me to do. I was actually having a conversation with a young woman the other day, and she just pure. She's like a teenage girl, and she said it's so sweet and so kind. And she asked me, she calls me Aunt Jamaica. Aunt Jamaica, she asked me about my life and why I am the way I am. Because if you know me, you know that my heart is on my sleeve. I love hard. If I'm in your corner, I'm in your corner hard. If I'm celebrating you, I'm going all out. I'm gonna be the loudest one. I'm buying gifts and I'm gonna be on 10. If you need me to pray for you in the middle of the night, I'm praying with you. If you need something, I will give you my last. And so she was just trying to understand just kind of how I am the way I am. And in giving her part of my testimony, I got that pull again that I've been getting for like a while from God that was like, you need to tell your story. And I was just like, I don't know, God. But then I went to sleep. And I went to sleep actually listening to worship, soaking music. Look that up, what soaking in God is. And in the process of soaking throughout the night, I woke up and I was just talking to him like he was sitting next to me. And I was like, God, in this season, because my son is gone for the summer, so it's me by my lonesome. It's me and my dog, Olive May. How do you want me to serve you? And how would you like me to spend time with you? He was like, I already told you. And so here I am. Despite the fact that I'm afraid of what some of you might have to say in the comments, despite the fact that I feel like there are going to be some people who want to see me fail and they're going to come with the negativity, but my block game is like strong. Despite the criticism, I've been criticized my whole life anyways, and love is not something that is synonymous with me. Jamaica and love are not hand in hand. So I think I'm already equipped for this. You know what I'm saying? I've lived a life of trauma. I've lived a life of unrequited love where I've tried to love people and they did not love me back. And I've been abandoned. I've been disrespected. I've been lied to, lied on, raped, robbed, forgotten, stepped over, disrespected and disregarded. So at this point, I really have nothing to lose, and I have the love of God. So I'm going to work from that place. Hopefully you ride with me on this journey. Because, baby, this journey to healing is going to be adventurous. I've had some extreme highs and some extreme lows, and I'm going to open up myself and share my story. I pray that through this process, that if there's something you can take, take the meat, spit out the bones. There's something you can take from my story. There's something you can take from my lessons and either apply them to your healing or learn what not to do. Learn from me. Don't make the same mistakes I did. A beautiful thing about this process is where I'm at in my life. I'm a grad student actually to be a Christian trauma counselor. And so I'm my first ministry. I am my first ministry. And I get to go back and watch these. If I'm my only viewer, I get to go back and watch these and see how I've evolved. And I know I've already come so far from that broken little girl who I still have a lisp. Heavy lisp, big gap, dressed like a little boy, kept her head down, band nerd, just was in the background. The only time I was in the foreground is because my sister brought me along with her. Like we've taken care of each other over the years. We were not really raised, we were tolerated, and so we took care of each other. So if I was seen or I was heard, it was because my sister was like, listen, my sister has something to say. Otherwise, I was the one in the back, real quiet, and I would speak no higher than a whisper. I think through my military career, I've found my voice through surviving my traumas and deciding not to be a victim. I've gotten a little bravado, and then just being a mother, I've had to find this strength to be, a full-time parent. And you know what that means. Not the best co-parent relationship, and that's the truth. So I've had to be my own shero for a lot of things. And side note, I want to say, it's June of 2020, and in the last 48 to 72 hours, I've seen a lot of Black men celebrating Black women and talking about they need to start having the conversation of covering us and being our protectors and step back into the role of being our providers. And it is so beautiful because I've been out here for a while now, and my question has been for a long time, who protects the Black woman, or who looks out for the Black woman? And I've had to be my own shero for a long time, and I've endured a lot of things who have made me who I am. But I wanted some help. I wanted to be able to be vulnerable. I wanted to be able to, for somebody to hold me down and for me to just be able to rest, because I'm tired. Part 2. Okay. The who. That was my why. I forgot. I almost left y'all. Didn't tell you about my who. Who am I? I am a 16-year active duty service member. I just put some age on myself. If you want to try to do the math, that's your bag. But cocoa butter. I'm lying. I don't use cocoa butter. But I'm moisturized. So yes, rack your brain on what my age is. That's up to you. 5'10". I'm extremely quirky, former band nerd. I do public affairs and mass communications in the Navy, but on the side, what else? I am a alumni of the illustrious Howard University, HU. I'm a single or full-time mom. I come from a lineage of women who were not taught how to love. That just hit a hard left, right? Yeah. Love was not a word we used in my household growing up. The way it was explained to me is my grandmother witnessed my great-grandmother being murdered by my great-grandfather at an early age, and it just affected how, her and how she seen love and how she viewed men and how she parented. And so she had a very tough love approach to things, and my mother did not experience love in her childhood the way she explained it to us, and so she did not give that to us. I'm at the place now where I'm trying to understand that how she did her best, but I'll get into that later. So we didn't say I love you growing up. It was just not something we did. Me and my sister make it a point to say it to each other now a lot. We say I love you. I tell my son I love him every day, to the point he's like, Mom, you told me like 6 times today, and I'm gonna tell you 7. Okay, because I love you. 20 hours of labor, you about to get all this mother guilt. That's part of who I am. I am a sexual assault survivor. I'm also a victim advocate. So I help others. That your person, if you need me to be, I'll sit next to you in the hospital and hold your hand, or just sit and talk if you don't want to tell anybody. That's part of my journey as well. Christian woman, currently married to Jesus, because I'm single as a dollar bill. But my friends believe that he's coming. They said they put a time expectancy on it, and they have started planning my wedding because they're crazy. But that's who I am. Trauma is in my DNA, but I don't let that define me. One of the things about the beauty in my brokenness, when I hit rock bottom, the way somebody explained it to me is a stained glass window, like you see at the older churches with the different colors and everything. It's a bunch of different pieces of broken glass that were put together to make something beautiful, to make art. And where you see them at is in the house of the Lord. And it's almost ironic that if you allow God, and I'm going to talk from a faith standpoint, because that's who I am. If you allow God to take those pieces and put them back together, there is something beautiful on the other side of that. You don't have to be perfect. You can celebrate the parts of you that nobody else is going to celebrate. You can celebrate the parts of you that other people would condemn, because God would never condemn you. I would never condemn you. If you want to talk to me, you can. I'm an open book, and I don't sleep much, so hit me up if you need to talk. Not on no crazy sliding the DMs nastiness, because I'm going to shut it down. Waiting on my king. But if you actually really want to genuinely talk, or you need somebody to talk to without fear of judgment, without fear of condemnation, I'm here. But we all need that. People are made to need people, and sometimes it may be for a season, I've learned, but I've been blessed enough that God has always placed somebody in my life. Even before I had a relationship with God, I've always known of him, because somebody was always dragging me to church. I wasn't raised in the church, and so I met God later in my life. It was actually my son who pointed out something. He's in the back seat. He's a really smart baby. And there was a sign, and it was like, this is a sign. It was literally a sign that said, this is a sign. Come to our church. He was like, Mom, I'm a sign. But throughout my lifetime, different people would take me to church, so I knew of God, but I never had that relationship with him. But then in that process of me and my son going to that church in DC, I recommitted my life, and I actually started to hunger for the word and really understand him. And then I PCS'd, which means like I changed duty stations, because I'm in the military, and went to Guam, and that's where I actually got baptized again. I got baptized as a child, but it didn't mean anything. I didn't know what I was doing, so I got baptized again. But it's funny, because even though I was a Christian and I had got rebaptized, I was still struggling with all the trauma, all the different mental health issues that were just compounded. Like, nobody taught me how to cope. Nobody taught me about love. Nobody taught me the life skills to be a woman. I just kind of started, I was just like kind of following my way through life. Didn't learn how to be a mother. Me and my sister, I think over the years have become amazing mothers we share notes, we compare notes. Girl, try this. Girl, try this. I prayed about this. I seen this. So nobody really gave us those skills. But I was saying about being a Christian, I still had suicidal thoughts. I still did not love myself. I still messed up and made bad decisions. I was still learning, I'm still learning. But God did not condemn me for that. I think I condemned myself. So part of this process is me, one, forgiving myself. It's also me writing those love letters to myself reflecting on those times in my life where I didn't know better or I knew better and I didn't do better, and writing a love letter to myself for something that I needed to hear at that time so I can hopefully close that chapter and move forward and hopefully help you heal in the process. So I say that to say, as we go on this journey, start gathering up all your broken pieces of glass, because we're gonna make something beautiful together.